What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So I want to talk about this, man. Undefeated WBC 135-pound lightweight superstar boxer Devin the Dream Haney, and his going back and forth, his rival, and his feud with unified lightweight superstar boxer Vasyl Lomachenko. We saw top-ranked CEO and promoter Bob Arum come out and state that Devin Haney is not even in the top 10 of lightweights. And we've seen this going back and forth. Vasyl Lomachenko vacated the WBC belt, was elevated to franchise champion. In return, he was able to maneuver around and navigate around fighting Devin Haney, who became his mandatory. With that said, Devin Haney went on, fought for the vacant WBC title, won the vacant WBC title, became the WBC 135-pound lightweight world champion, right? Vasyl Lomachenko claimed that he wanted to be undisputed at the lightweight division. The WBC gave him an out by franchising him. So their rules are, even though he doesn't physically hold the title, he still represents the WBC title, the sanction body. And for that, if he beats Teofimo Lopez, who holds the IBF belt after he defeated Richard Comey for that belt in dramatic fashion, knocking him out. Teofimo Lopez is another superstar boxer. He's the IBF undefeated world champion in the lightweight division. The lightweight division is booming. So with that said, you know, Vasyl Lomachenko opted to go the route of fighting Teofimo Lopez, who Teofimo Lopez and Devin Haney have both been calling out Vasyl Lomachenko, right? He first said that Teofimo Lopez, and he likes his chances against Lopez more so than he likes his chances against Devin Haney, and I'm going to tell you why. When Teofimo Lopez was calling him out and Devin Haney were calling him out, neither guy were champions, right? He stated that he didn't know who Teofimo Lopez was, and he had to do something, accomplish something before he could acknowledge him, right? So Teofimo Lopez went on, became the mandatory for the IBF, fought Richard Comey, knocked him out in dramatic fashion, won the belt. Devin Haney became his mandatory. He already held the WBC belt. So he came up the ranking system. He treaded through all the mud and became the #1 challenger for Vasyl Lomachenko's title. Now, this is where Vasyl Lomachenko was caught in a pickle. He claimed that he wanted to be undisputed, right? To be undisputed, you have to keep your WBC title and you have to win the IBF, right? Vasyl Lomachenko has been inactive. He has been inactive since his last fight with Luke Campbell. Okay? I told you guys, when Devin Haney became his mandatory, right? He could have accomplished two things with one stone, right? Meaning that he could have fought Devin Haney, right? He could have fought Devin Haney for his mandatory spot because Teofimo Lopez at the time was occupied with making his way to Richard Comey. That was December 14th. He last fought August 31st. The fight with Teofimo Lopez and Vasyl Lomachenko is not going to take place until it was supposed to be April 18th, but Vasyl Lomachenko has now since said that he's not comfortable fighting in New York against Teofimo Lopez. He don't feel like he's going to give it a fair shake, which is odd in itself. But it's supposed to be April 18th. Now it's been moved back. So at the very least, we're going to get May, right? So the last time he fought was August 31st against Luke Campbell. So you're talking about, and I'm going to give you a reason why I'm breaking this down the way I am. August, so you have September, October, November, December. That's where Teofimo Lopez and he defeated Luke Campbell for the WBC title, which made him unified. So he then held the WBC, the WBA, and the WBO. Vasyl Lomachenko did when he defeated Luke Campbell. Now, that took place in August. Understand, follow me. So you had August, September, October, November, December. That's when Teofimo Lopez and Richard Comey were going to do handle their business, their showdown for the IBF belt. That was in December. So that means 4 months, right? At least in January, right? So you're saying 5 months in January, the month of January, he could have had that opportunity to satisfy his mandatory, because remember, at that point in time, Vasyl Lomachenko stated that he wanted to stay busy. He did not want to sit around and wait for Teofimo Lopez, Richard Comey to decide the IBF belt. Understand me? So 5 months you're talking about at the very least for negotiations for the winner of Teofimo Lopez, Richard Comey. So in 5 months, that's nearly a half of a year. It's only 12 months in a year. So 6 months is half of the year. So 5 months is nearly half of the year that he sat out, and he said he did not want to sit out. But when the opportunity arose, see, this is what happened. Devin Haney became the option to face off against, satisfy your mandatory. Why not? Because if your mandatory was a light touch, like they said, Devin Haney's not even in the top 10. That's a light touch, right? That's a tune-up fight. Devin Haney would be, right? Is what Bob Arum said. He's not even in the top 10. So if that's the case, and then Vasyl Lomachenko said he hasn't accomplished anything. Same thing he said about Teofimo Lopez. So he said he wanted to stay busy. He wanted to stay active. So if that's the case, then why didn't you fight Devin Haney, who was your mandatory? And then you're not just hanging around waiting for the outcome of Teofimo Lopez and Richard Comey. Then you staying active, you're staying fresh. Then you go from that fight to the undisputed bout, right? See, then Devin Haney became his mandatory. So he couldn't opt out. He couldn't opt for a different opponent, another light touch, instead of going the route of Devin Haney, because he would have been criticized for that. If you're saying Devin Haney hasn't done anything, he's a light touch, and he hasn't accomplished anything, he's an easy fight, he's not even in the top 10, then, and he's your mandatory, then why would you go the route of fighting somebody else in a tune-up fight to keep you busy for Teofimo Lopez, Richard Comey, undisputed bout? No, everybody would have called for Devin Haney fight. But see, this is where it gets tricky. They know Devin Haney is not just a light touch. He's not a tune-up. In fact, they don't even like their chances, meaning top-ranked Bob Arum and Vasyl Lomachenko. Why? Because Devin Haney is athletic as Vasyl Lomachenko. He's longer. He has a high ring IQ like Lomachenko. He has technical abilities like Lomachenko, but he's stronger and he's younger. He's longer. That's what's more important. He has a longer reach. He could touch him from a distance that Lomachenko has very short arms. He's very short. He has very short arms, and he needs to get on the inside. But see, Luke Campbell was touching Lomachenko with his athletic ability, and he doesn't have near the abilities that Devin Haney has. So let's just stay on par. So then he, in return, was awarded the franchise to navigate around fighting Devin Haney as the mandatory. Then, so he won't be criticized, he chose to just sit out and not fight anybody and just wait around. And I told you guys, by the time Teofimo Lopez, Richard Comey fight, the winner of that fight fights Vasyl Lomachenko, he would have at least been out the ring for at least 8 months. We are right on par. How are we on par? September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April. That's 8 months. And now it's not even going to take place in April. So now you're talking about May. That's 9 months he would have been out the ring after claiming he wanted to stay active. See, he claimed that he wanted to stay active. This all took place. These events all took place, and these comments all took place prior to Devin Haney placing himself in a position to be his mandatory. And if you claim he's just a light touch, satisfy your mandatory, so that way later on you don't have to worry about satisfying your mandatory. You would have already done it, right? Then you don't have to worry about when you're going into other bouts, undisputed and things of that nature. You get the situation where Anthony Joshua find himself in, where he has 2 mandatories, Kubrat Pulev and Alexander Usyk for the WBO, and he has Kubrat Pulev for the IBF, because he needs to satisfy his mandatory. He didn't satisfy a mandatory. So now he's finding himself where he's going to either have to vacate the WBO or pay step aside money, and it's a lot of hoops and hurdles that he's going to have to do to keep those titles. And so Vasyl Lomachenko could have navigated correctly. But see, this lets you know that they were concerned about Devin Haney. So they went to the WBC, as Bob Arum stated, and they asked to be franchised. That way they navigated around him, and they didn't take a tune-up. That way they wouldn't be criticized for not fighting Devin Haney, right? See, it's very difficult for the boxing world to accept you fighting a guy that's a tune-up caliber fighter, but you say at the same time that Devin Haney is not worth it. He's too young, he's too green, he doesn't have anything for you. Then why? Then you have to explain accepting somebody else over him when you could easily use him and get him out the way. See, so they like their chances. See, when we told Teofimo Lopez, so now Teofimo Lopez put himself in position to fight Vasyl Lomachenko as well. So there's two reasons, right? Vasyl Lomachenko obviously is under the same promotional banner as Teofimo Lopez, being top ranked ESPN and things of that nature in the network. So yes, it's easier to I gather, to negotiate, but I don't think that it's too hard for Bill and Devin Haney to negotiate with Eddie Hearn. I don't think that it's that difficult to negotiate with Eddie Hearn when you're dealing with these fighters. Now, I believe it's difficult when you're dealing with Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder because Eddie Hearn doesn't want to come up off the 50-50 split. But because he feels like Anthony Joshua is the biggest star in the world. So he don't think there's no equal. You understand? But he'll accept a lopsided split with Devin Haney and Vasyl Lomachenko. Not too lopsided, but he'll accept a somewhat lopsided split. And he's willing to put up the difference in the money to see a return on his investment when it comes to Devin Haney. You understand? So, yes, Teofimo Lopez is under the same promotional banner as Vasyl Lomachenko, but still at the same token, what's happening here is Teofimo Lopez, they look at him and say, well, he has the power, he's athletic, but he doesn't have the skill set and the ring IQ of a Devin Haney. Right? He's not as technically sound and gifted as Devin Haney is. Teofimo Lopez is very explosive. He has a lot of power, a la Gervonta Tank Davis. And see, they like to fight. This is why they call out Gervonta Tank Davis, because they don't believe that he has the ring IQ up here to follow through with his skill set down here. So they feel like they can frustrate him. That's why they've been calling out Gervonta Tank Davis. They want to catch him early before he sprouts. And this is the same thing that this is the same mindset they have when it comes to Teofimo Lopez, because they believe that they're catching him at an early stage enough where he hasn't truly grew into his full potential. But I believe that they barked up the wrong tree. I believe that Teofimo Lopez is going to knock Vasyl Lomachenko out, because he's not going to be afraid to exchange. He's not going to hold back. He's not going to not let his hands go. And I don't believe that Vasyl Lomachenko has the chin set and the physical abilities to withstand what Teofimo Lopez is going to dish out. So I think either way, they made a mistake, but they believe that they like their chances better with Teofimo Lopez, because they believe that at some point in time, he'll get frustrated and start solely relying on his power, where Devin Haney is not going to do that. Devin Haney will win the fight by any means necessary. Right? Teofimo Lopez may get in his bag and want to knock out Vasyl Lomachenko. And that's where they feel like he'll get frustrated and Vasyl Lomachenko could take advantage of it. I don't think that that's going to be the case. I think that Teofimo Lopez is going to catch Vasyl Lomachenko in exchange, and he's going to knock him down. He's going to hurt him. Vasyl Lomachenko is going to get up, but he's not going to be able to withstand Teofimo Lopez's continued onslaught. Not going to be able to do it. See, when he was hurt by Luke Campbell wasn't able to capitalize. When he was knocked down by Jorge Linares and dropped and hurt, Jorge Linares wasn't able to capitalize. Teofimo Lopez is going to be able to capitalize. And see, they know the skill set of Devin Haney is what they fear. He's long, lean, he's athletic, he has power, he's quick, he has a high ring IQ. It's too much of the total package. They saw Teofimo Lopez get frustrated in his fight prior to the Richard Coleman fight, and that's what they're banking on. They weren't too sure in the beginning, thus the reason why they were making Teofimo Lopez jump through hoops and hurdles to get the fight. But they didn't think he was actually going to follow through. They liked their chances much better against Richard Coleman than they did Teofimo Lopez, but he beat Richard Coleman in such dramatic fashion. They had no choice sitting ringside. They couldn't hold him back. They couldn't hold him back. And see, Bob Arum stated that he was trying to hold Teofimo Lopez back. He said that I was trying to tell him that he wasn't ready, and navigate him in a certain manner, but, it was becoming difficult because this dude is aggressive. He wants what he wants. Bob Arum admitted that. And so with that said, I believe that Teofimo Lopez was the wrong choice. I think that either way it was the wrong choice. But I think that Teofimo Lopez is going to knock Vasyl Lomachenko out. But when it comes to Devin Haney, they're afraid of his skill set, as most are. Because Devin Haney reminds Bob Arum a lot alike of Floyd Mayweather. He reminds him a lot of Floyd Mayweather. And he knows he does what a promoter's supposed to do when promoting Vasyl Lomachenko. But he knows Vasyl Lomachenko. That's why he always puts it out there, the premeditated excuse that Vasyl Lomachenko is not big enough for these divisions. He's just happened to be skillful enough to compete with these bigger guys. So he's already premeditating an excuse so when he loses, he can say, well, he wasn't big enough for these guys. But he knows that there's a strong possibility if he gets in the ring with Devin Haney, he could get embarrassed. Now, he knows that this is a sport of boxing, so he get in there with Teofimo Lopez, he could get knocked out. And then we're going to say, well, that's boxing. Anybody could get knocked out. You see what I'm saying? Because Bob Arum doesn't believe Teofimo Lopez can out-jab him. He don't believe he's going to outsmart him, outbox Vasyl Lomachenko. Now, he knows he has more power than Vasyl Lomachenko, and then there's the built-in excuse where anybody could get knocked out. But see, when it comes to Devin Haney has the skill set that he could box with Vasyl Lomachenko, and all of the praises that they never seen a boxer in the Matrix, and he's Muhammad Ali, and all wrapped in one, and they never seen a boxer with this skill set and all these angles. Like they did Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather. They understood that Floyd Mayweather, there was a chance that he could outclass Manny Pacquiao, and that's a bad look. And that's the same thing that's going on with Devin Haney and Vasyl Lomachenko. It's the same thing. So I'm expecting Teofimo Lopez to defeat and knock out Vasyl Lomachenko. But if he doesn't, if Vasyl Lomachenko is successful and defeats Teofimo Lopez, he can't duck Devin Haney for much longer. He's going to have to accept that fight. And I'm expecting Devin Haney to outclass Vasyl Lomachenko. But that's all I got for y'all. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. You haven't subscribed? Hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button. Hit the bell icon to get all the new notification. Follow me on Instagram at Blood Sports TV. All one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to New Media. Shout out to Black Media Row. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.